We are back. Welcome back, Utah State. Beautiful night. Great fans. Football team on point. They're on a pace to score 102.
Well, that would be something.
274 yards rushing, 4 touchdowns by 3 different running backs. Faison, Booth, and Briggs have all been just phenomenal.
Yeah, and the question is, like, if you're picking one running back to get the game ball, like, which one is it going to be? And it's hard to decide because they've all played so very well. Faison played extremely well last week and was used kind of sparingly until really the second quarter. Booth has been phenomenal, and Briggs has been a beast.
Well, we'll see what the second half delivers, and Idaho State gets football to get things going. Now they use Jordan Cook, the Diablo Valley quarterback, the freshman first, and they went to Hunter Hayes out of Cody, Wyoming. So we'll see what Cody Hawkins runs out there to start this second half. But, man, what a first-half performance by this Utah State team.
Yeah, not just offense, but defense as well. You just saw Anthony Switzer, who had just an amazing first half and so many big plays. And Ike Larson had an interception return for a touchdown.
And it is Jordan Cook back at quarterback. And Cook opens the half with a completion to Fredrickson, who might be one of his favorite targets. He's got almost a little bit of a sidearm delivery and just a cannon for an arm.
Yeah, both of these quarterbacks, Cook and Hayes, have strong arms. They're both 6'4", so they got so much leverage as they deliver the ball.
Fredrickson already with 5 receptions, 85 yards, couple of touchdowns. He has both their touchdowns tonight. Cook again in trouble, and down he goes.
Pressure.
It looked like Kahui might have knocked him down.
Yeah, the pressure coming off the edge. It just collapsed the pocket early. I believe was that Stone that got there first. And eventually Cook just he went down. So that'll be a loss of.
He literally almost just lost his balance.
Yeah, so loss of about 7 on the play.
Yeah, 2nd and 18. Cook again. There's a flag down in the middle of all this.
Yeah, it could be a hold. They're doing anything they can to try to slow down that rush, and one of the ways you do that is to set up a screenplay and at least make that defensive line as they're coming through maybe take a half step and check to make sure there's not a screen. Slows them down a little bit, but now you got a penalty, and I'm not sure if it'll be declined by Coach Anderson.
Yeah, it'll still leave it 3rd and 18.
You know, the 51 points is really impressive, and then giving up just 14 in the first half is a nice job by this defense. Sure, you'd like to pitch a shutout, but they did a great job. More pressure again.
Cook in trouble, and Cook goes down. Multiple Aggies getting involved in that one. You brought up an interesting point in that with a score like this, the deeper we go into this game, the more people that are going to come in that are not on our spotter boards.
Yeah, we're going to start to go off the numerical roster. I believe that was Blaine Spires that made that tackle.
Well, he started, and Cole Joyce was also involved there. Fair catch called for in traffic and secured at the 37-yard line.
And the thing about doing a game where you're going off the numerical roster for the home team when they're dressing 100 guys.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of people.
It gets pretty deep.
Yeah. Not quite so much for the travel.
Yeah, the travel squad has limitations. At home, you try to dress as many guys as you can.
So it appears Cooper Legaut's night may be done after putting up 51 points because Levi Williams out of Canyon Lake, Texas, is in at quarterback now. And he'll run a quarterback draw. And Williams has a first down on his first play.
And Levi Williams, a big kid. He is 6'5", 230 pounds. And a nice run right there.
Briggs. Wait, almost does it really matter who gets the ball, right?
It doesn't. You know, all of these guys, they're built very similar. Their running styles are similar. It's not thunder and lightning. It's like everybody is like, you know, they're a lightning storm out here.
13 yards on the pickup. Levi Williams at quarterback. He's going to throw his first pass, and it's got a good arm, but a little high and wide.
Kind of short-armed that as the pressure was coming. He held on to that option for as long as he could to try to make the decision, finally pulled the ball, and as he was getting ready to release, the rush was on top of him.
And Alema, that's the first time Vaughn has been targeted that he didn't catch the ball. And not his fault, but still. Although if Frank Dolce were here, he would say it was.
It's always the receiver's fault, never the quarterback's fault.
Williams again, close to a first down. I think he stepped out about a yard shy. You wonder how long before the opportunity for McKay Hillstead, a guy that we've called for 4 years, who was a Skyridge quarterback.
And is on the depth chart here.
Yes, he is.
And had a really nice fall camp and was part of the competition that Cooper Laga was able to hang on to that starting role as QB1.
Here we go again, Briggs. This running game.
These handoffs, there's so many guys just right at the line of scrimmage. If you're able to get a good seal block and get through the line of scrimmage on the outside off a tackle, you got free run until the secondary.
Fake to Briggs, Williams, and Williams will take off. There's a flag down here. He's got what appears to be a first down, but hold on. Might be a little shy, but let's get the flag. Could be holding.
Williams
might be
really
offside.
Nice speed.
Yeah, it is holding.
Again, a relatively speaking, a very clean game for both of these teams.
That's the fourth total penalty of the entire game.
Yeah, for the entire game. When's the last time you saw that?
Very rarely. Another play fake, pass complete. How about Williams marching him down the field? And Colby Bowman, the junior, another one from John Bosco and transferred from Stanford.
You know that I'm a former running back, big on the run game, and the run game is setting up the pass.
And that good decision by Williams to keep the football. And he's got a first down, and it'll be first and goal inside the 10.
Yeah, that RPO package right now.
Well, they actually spotted it. Boy, I thought he was down about the 8-yard line.
It's where you start your slide.
Yeah. So third and short. Briggs.
He's going to, I think, real close to that first down. He's got to get to just beyond the 9-yard line.
They're going to go quick. And they'll just keep it, and they got it.
And some.
I mean, you'd think with all the rushing they've had, I mean, they're averaging 13 yards a carry. They could certainly get half a yard.
And again, you got to give credit to that offensive line because they have been fantastic through the first half and continue here in the third quarter.
Boy, they have not missed a beat. Backup quarterback comes in, guides them right down the field. But it's been a lot of this. Briggs stacked up this time.
That time, David Rowe, 6'5", 270, able to stop Robert Briggs in his tracks.
So whether you go with Faison, Booth, or Briggs for an entire series or however you decide to do it, they're all very productive. Williams lobs, end zone, touchdown. Give another one to Vaughn. And Alema, that's his 11th catch and another touchdown.
He's just lighting up the scoreboard. Play action. Great touch pass from Levi Williams and Vaughn in the end zone again. Levi Williams did a great job just putting that pass exactly where it needed to be just over the fingertips of the defender and into the hands of Vaughn.
Point after up and good. 58-14. Everything going the Aggies' way. Really, since it was 7-7. Did give up that late touchdown in the end of first half. But other than that, complete domination. They go 11 plays with backup quarterback Levi Williams leading the team. 62 yards and that 5-yard TD reception to Terrell Vaughn.
Was it last week or was it week 0 that Oregon put up all those points and the mascot had to do all those push-ups?
Yeah.
They got the military group down here doing the push-ups in
Look
the
at them
end
go.
zone. That's a lot of push-ups. Come on now.
Oh, he's not missing a beat. How about the guys that have to hold that table up? Utah State 11 now has 442 total yards. 300 of that is rushing, and we're only a few minutes into the third quarter. This is just a fantastic performance.
Again, a great family experience if you come out here and catch a game at Maverick Stadium. Tailgating going on before as we walked in. So many activities and certainly for the student body. And even if you're considering, it's like, I wonder where I'm going to go to school, and you might be watching parents and maybe had not considered Utah State.
Look at you promoting the Aggies.
I'm just saying, the college experience, as you know, is one of those things that it's probably the best 8 years of your life, Fox.
I'm still
It
counting.
was the best 8 years of my life.
Yeah, it was.
Some of us take longer than others.
You know, I was thinking about this stadium because you talked about when you played up here, which would have been late 80s, I believe.
Yeah, well,
how
mid-80s,
much it is
84 through 88.
84 to 88.
Yeah.
How much it is, the West grandstand's almost identical, but they've added this beautiful facility on the north end that is fantastic, and then this big press box is just gorgeous.
Well, the facilities have improved dramatically.
I think they had a track when you
they
maybe
did.
Not.
I think they did. I wouldn't remember, because there was snow on it.
That's right.
But it felt different, and of course it was a grass field at that time.
But man, they have really, their facilities here are just marvelous. They've got great indoor facility, multi-use, just a little bit north here of the stadium, which you need that when you're in Logan.
But, I mean, it's a fun environment. It's a college town. My daughter went to school up here. It's one of those things that I think it's for those that live down in, let's say, Salt Lake City or even, Provo or beyond the point of the mountain, and you're thinking about, well, I want to go away for college. You feel like you're far enough away that you can come up here and go to school, and you're not at home, but you can still go home. Maybe on the weekend, certainly for holidays, and the travel's not that bad.
Hunter Hayes back in at quarterback, and Raiden Hunter at running back. Kind words from Alema Harrington, considering I understand that you tried to get in the tailgate lot tonight, and they sent you off, and they wouldn't let you in.
No, sir, you do not have the credentials to be in here. He said, we know about you. You're going to eat everything.
Yeah.
He said, we're going to have to ration things out.
And they do great tailgating up here, by the way. 2nd down and 5. Draw. The Aggies not fooled.
Nowhere to go on the delayed handoff, and defense once again bringing up a 3rd down and 5.
You're looking at this offense, and Alema, the Aggies have a short week. They have to play next Friday. They jump right into Mountain West play, and they have to go to Air Force. And you've seen, you played on offense, but you've seen the adjustments you have to make quickly to play a team like that.
And you got to be very disciplined, and it's 2 weeks of work that you put in. Sometimes you'll try to get a little bit of the work in the week before.
Hayes, pass caught, dropped. Good coverage right there by Steele. He got his hand in there, made sure he did not catch that.
Been impressed with the secondary, their ability to break on the ball. Nice coverage here throughout. And Steele gets in there and makes sure that he pulls the arms away from the ball. Great technique.
So another punt coming. And Micah Davis standing at his 30-yard line. Kick is away. And Davis is going to try to return this, drops it, and fortunately he's able to fall on it.
Fortunately, the coverage really had gone past
went
him.
By him, yeah. 43-yard kick, actually gets a 3-yard return, and the Aggies have the football leading 58-14. When we come back, Aggie football on a beautiful night in Logan on KJazz TV. Welcome back to Maverick Stadium here in Logan. We're delighted to bring you Aggie football tonight, the first of our 4 games scheduled this season. James Madison, Colorado State, and Nevada, the other 3 games over the upcoming season.
They just showed Jordan Love getting ready an NFL game, promoting a Packers game.
Yeah.
And Jordan Love, of course, the former quarterback here at Utah State.
Taking over Green Bay.
It's his
Aaron
time.
Rodgers moves on. Yep.
It's always great to have alumni like that, and Utah State does a great job putting guys into the NFL.
Oh, how about that screen? Quickly out of bounds. Booth.
Good patience that time by Levi Williams. Waiting, looking downfield. And you know, you always have a release valve. You always have a dump-off guy, but sometimes you forget about it. But that time Williams remembered, I got my guy out here and I can dump this thing off, and is able to get that ball away.
3rd down 6. Levi Williams at quarterback. Oh, and he was trying to get the defense to move, and instead his lineman moved.
Yeah, his right tackle got a little
I think it was Moats, maybe.
We've got some new players in.
Yeah, we've got a few.
That's Anderson.
Yeah, and he's coming out. You were talking about great quarterbacks and great players in the NFL. Don't forget, one of the best ever, Anthony Calvillo, was a star in Canada.
Yeah.
I mean, a record holder up there. Made a great career out of that. Former Aggie. Williams in trouble, has to throw it away. You remember who was at quarterback when you played down here as a flag flies in?
Oh, no, I don't remember.
That was a long time
They're going to
ago.
look and see if this is a grounding call, I would think. But he got that beyond the line of scrimmage. There was a receiver in the area. I wonder, and it could be a sideline warning. And again, the way that this stadium is set up, the sideline is very shallow.
There's not a lot of room, yeah.
There's no foul for a legal man downfield.
There you go.
Oh, a legal man downfield.
The pass is legally through the ball away. 4th down.
Well, they'll wave off that flag, and here's something rare.
A punt.
A punt from the Aggies.
You know why it's rare? It's the first.
The Aggies in the
game.
first half of this game faced 3rd down only 4 times.
Oh, excuse me. It's the first since the 6-minute mark of the game. Yeah.
They were 3 out of 4 on 3rd down conversions, but they rarely were in a 3rd down situation.
Flags again.
That was a booming punt.
I'll tell you one stadium where it's even narrower on each side is Colorado. I mean, it's
Buffalo
so
Stadium?
the Buffalo. It's so narrow on one side. You actually have to go into the stands to get down to the other end. I mean, it is tight. Speaking of Colorado,
Yeah,
Coach Prime's
how about
got
Coach
going.
Prime? I wonder if he showed up in Boulder and said, "I'm going to make us the most talked about program in the country." Believe that, and that's exactly what has happened.
He's done. He actually comes to Salt Lake City, the last regular season game of the year, to face University of Utah. And this kick takes a nice, healthy Aggie bounce. Look at that, 11. How did that not roll out of bounds? All the way down to the 6-yard line.
I'm waiting for Tyson to tally
There it
this
is.
up. 69 yards. That is a booming punt. Talk about flipping the field.
About 30 of that after the bounce. You see this, though, so often when you have a huge first-half lead. You know, you're not going to keep that pace up.
Yeah,
you just
you
don't.
aren't. It's like, well, we're on pace to score 100-plus points. Well, you're not really, because typically in the second half, things will slow down. You're going to play a lot of guys in the second half, and into the 4th quarter especially. We'll be probably calling the entire game. Forget the 2-deep roster. We'll be into the numerical roster, but we'll come.
And we are back. Aggies leading comfortably, I would say, is the way to put it. 58-14, although they did just punt. And Cody Hawkins has gone back to Cook.
Hang on. We're singing Living on a Prayer.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The student section,
they are listening.
They're awesome.
And then the whole look at this guy. All right, so incomplete on first down as Jordan Cook back into the ball game. Diablo Valley quarterback.
We're going to get John Bon Jovi up here. You and I know him
from the Olympic
football days.
Yeah.
He owned Philadelphia franchise.
That's right.
It was a direct snap that time.
The old direct snap didn't fool anybody. Almost missed the snap. And now 3rd and long.
Switzer coming up and making the stop. He's had a big game.
He's kind of been to the defense what Vaughn has been to the offense. He called his name all night.
And I got to guess that come the 4th quarter, he'll get to sit and cheer on some of the guys that he's mentoring.
Cook. Pass. Oh, what a catch. That came in low, and James went down and got it.
Flag on the play.
Yeah, way back at the goal line.
It's either going to be roughing the passer. I'm trying to see right here on the replay.
Well, the entire team's moving forward.
Oh no, there was an actual wrestling move that happened it looked like the WWE back there. That'll be a hold. That'll be coming back.
Well, UFC is in Australia tonight.
Yeah, that
296, I believe.
That was full contact right there. So I was right on both.
Yeah, you nailed them. So we'll do it over.
Well, that really does hurt this Idaho State offense. You see the late hit here, but watch right here, the bottom of your screen and the takedown right there. We don't get a chance to see the late hit, but it negates a first down.
A heck of a catch, by the way, as a side note to all that. All right, 3rd down. And Cook to throw. Cook going down the sideline. And if it holds up, Fredrickson's got a great catch. They're going to say no, he's out of bounds.
Say he's out of bounds.
So another punt coming.
Well, this time Cook just tries to put some air under it. He does that, just a flick of the wrist, strong arm, but good job defensively to make sure that the receiver did not come down inbounds.
So there have been a number of punts, and each time Micah Davis moves further and further up the field. Now he's inside of midfield. This is a high, shorter kick.
They'll call for a fair catch.
Got it at the 47-yard line after the 40-yard kick. So out comes the Aggie offense. The number of the starters, their night was complete after they piled up 51 halftime points.
Then their backup, Levi Williams, comes in and leads them down the field and puts the ball in the end zone. Blake Anderson, head coach, and this year the offensive coordinator duties belong to him as well. He's got to be pleased with the way his offense has looked here tonight.
Leaving his running backs in there, but then again, he's got 3 of them he's been using. So this time it's the phase-on drive. We'll see how he does. Not well on first down. They're actually going to lose a yard.
I'll tell you, for most running backs, you'll take as many carries as you can get on the night. And it's interesting because running backs like to have, several series where you get some rhythm, but these guys, it doesn't matter. They come in and they're already in rhythm.
Williams. And Williams firing downfield, throwing off his back foot, caught, touchdown Aggies. 47 yards. And how about Micah Davis getting involved in the action?
They get Micah Davis by way of Atlanta, Georgia. And watch the pressure that Williams is under and throwing off his back foot, as you mentioned, and able to get enough zip on that ball to get it to Davis. You'll see a good look right here. Back foot, really not able to step into it, but has enough arm strength to get it there.
Point after up and good. Cannon goes off, and the Aggies over 60. They're at 65-14.
They're going to have to run back to the ROTC and pick up more ammo.
That's right.
I'm not sure if they brought enough for the Cannon tonight.
And how about, is it the same guy doing the push-ups?
No,
No,
looks like it might be a different guy.
65
That's the way it is.
push-ups
You got to
coming.
do teamwork. Just think if
Word.
you and me, if we
Oh,
were doing the, that would
I'd
be
be
a problem.
3 or 4 in. I'd be,
Yeah.
take another camera angle. Look at these guys. They're just having a
You
great
do
time
5
tonight.
of them and say, loop that. Just loop it.
That's right. Oh, push-ups are hard.
Well,
That's all I'm going to say.
everything becomes a little
At
more
my age,
difficult
everything's hard.
when you're over
Yeah.
60.
Oh, what a night for this Aggie football team. And okay, granted, a lot of times you schedule for a win. University of
Yeah.
Utah, for instance, next week has Weber State coming in. BYU today at Southern Utah come up. That's, it's a payday for these schools.
Yeah.
But this is
But it's an opportunity.
It's an opportunity. You're
You know,
right.
for BYU, they were coming off a real lackluster performance in week 1, and Utah had a pretty good performance against Florida, but they had some things, especially in their run game, that they wanted to clean up and get another look at. And so they end up at Baylor and performed well in a comeback win. But for BYU, this game, regardless of who the opponent was, you still get out there, and it's those live reps against a team that's out there. It's not a scrimmage, it's an actual game, and it's an opportunity to see what your team is really looking like.
Well, and it's about to get real for BYU. They have one more non-league
and
game,
that's
and
Arkansas.
that's at Arkansas. And then their first ever Big 12 game as they will play at Kansas as Hayes takes off. And same thing for Utah State. Here you got a short weekend on a Friday night. They
Yeah.
got to go to Air Force. No matter how good that team is, they're still complicated, and it takes a lot of preparation. You said 2 weeks really is what you need.
Well, you want to play them early enough in the schedule where, and hopefully against a team prior that allows you maybe some time to prep, even if it's just looking at some film. Because defensively, you have to be so disciplined and assignment sound to go up against that triple option attack. So this is
right?
a big
Yeah.
game. In spite of the fact that you're playing against Idaho State, it's still in front of your home crowd. You get a chance to kind of get that bad taste out of your mouth from last week.
Aiden Taylor.
And then I think on top of that, and you don't know that this is going to happen, but because of the score 65-14, this is an opportunity for your 2s and 3s to get extended minutes. BYU was able to do that earlier today down in Provo against Southern Utah. And so those are important, games for that group too.
Direct snap to Taylor for the first down. The good thing is, though, if you stumble a little bit, at least you're stumbling in a victory. BYU wins their first game just 14-0. A lot of things to work on, but they got to win. Utah today beats Baylor 20-13. They trailed the entire game. They got some things to work on. Now, granted, they don't have their starting quarterback, Cam Rising, but still things to work on, and they get the victory. And that's the most important thing.
My question is, and I think, our understanding is, there's a good chance we'll see Cam Rising for maybe a quarter against Weber State next week.
And I was thinking that not because you need him so much. No disrespect, Weber State, but you want to get him some reps.
You want to get him some live reps before you get into league play.
Yeah, because your first league game's UCLA, and I don't know if you want that to be the absolute first time he sees the field.
But my question is, the way that Johnson played in the second half especially,
late in the game,
is he going to be, if you're not going with Cam Rising in that Weber State game, who starts against Weber State? It's going to be Cam Rising. He'll start if he's ready to go. And then who takes the rest of the reps? I think Johnson showed that he can handle the passing game very effectively.
Well, last week
he's a brilliant runner.
He showed that he could run well, and you're right. Then this week he showed that he can also mix in the passing game. I agree with you 100%.
Third down and about 5 here.
High snap, handled Hayes, ball complete, and Wallace has it.
Wallace has been a very
There is a flag
He's
down,
been a-
though, Lemma, back at the line of scrimmage.
good possession receiver. Big target, 6'3".
So first down will hold up. I will tell you this, though. In spite of everything we've talked about, there's nothing better than the fact that we're playing football. 'Cause
Absolutely.
this summer seemed to go on forever.
Yeah,
And so just wait, and tomorrow the NFL kicks off. It's just a great time of year. You and I do a ton of high school games all year. We love the college game, and here we are. It's just great.
nothing like football season.
Hayes, and well defended by Gabriel Ryan. Or excuse me, Brian. Forgot the B.
Yeah, watch Brian on the defense here. He's going to be blanketing and then goes and gets that arm out just in time. He had that backhand. Usually they'll call you on the pass interference if you're wrapped around with the offhand. He had the offhand like a bull rider in the air and then was able to stab that ball away with the left hand.
Another pass complete. Excellent catch by Fredrickson. You describe that bull riding like you've done it, but maybe that's what's wrong with your back.
Only on the mechanical bull at Boondocks.
All the way down to the 25-yard line. Yeah, you know, you and I have worked together for decades, and football's what we love best. I mean, we like basketball.
And
but
obviously,
football,
I do the NBA.
Yep, the Jazz.
And that's my living. But I love doing high school football, college football.
Little trickery here. They get downfield again, and another first down. But yeah, it's our favorite time of year, especially a night like this.
Yeah, beautiful night
beautiful.
in a beautiful place. And there's something special about these college towns and to be able to come up to a game where the community supports, and we have that same experience when we go and do Weber State games in Ogden, and certainly Provo is that kind of town.
Yeah, we got great teams, great fan support here in Utah. Hayes again going end zone, got an open man back of the end zone. What a grab. Had to go up high to get that one. And how about that? Michael Shulikov gets into the game. Some of the backups. Look at that catch.
That's a remarkable catch, and he was able to get 2 feet down. You only need
only need
one in college ball.
Very impressive. So, and that's going to be the last play of this third quarter. But
well, this is an important game for Idaho State too. I mean, you're talking about a team, a group that has really struggled to win games, and you're looking for every little thing that you can point to, and a big catch like that is something you can point to. So, but you remember that play?
Remember that play?
We
Yeah.
needed to get into the end zone. We were down 65-16, and we were able to score. You know, those are things that you can point to and continue to build, because it's a process right now for Idaho State.
65-21. We're through 3. We'll come back for the fourth quarter. Aggie football on KJazz TV. 65-21. Alem and I were just talking during the break. The number of young men that come from Hawaii, and it's so familiar to you.
Yeah.
You're a Punahou grad, of course, and
Well, the
there's schools all over.
Motu'upuakas are from Oahu, and Tavo went to Mililani. He's on the offensive line, just a freshman. His brother, Hale, on the defensive line is from Punahou. That's my alma mater.
And how far apart are those schools?
Well, so Mililani is closer to where the Aloha Stadium is.
Okay, right.
And Punahou is closer to where the University of Hawaii is. So it's in Manoa. And then we also, the other kid, Kahanu Davis is from Kapa'a, which is Kauai. And
I didn't even know Kauai had a high school.
it's very small. It's a very small island, and Molokai is a very small island. And so there's not a whole lot of kids that make it to Division I ball coming out of Kauai.
I would imagine.
Well,
this is
Oahu. You get quite a few.
You get quite a few. This is exciting for us now, Lemma, because look who's into the game. McKay Hillstead at quarterback, the Skyridge grad. We were calling him in a championship game last November.
Yeah, less than a year ago.
Yeah, when he guided his team to the 6A championship here, their first. And now McKay Hillstead gets some time here with the Aggies leading 65-21.
And like we were talking about, nothing like live reps for guys that, they're spending all this time. And by the time, you look at the depth chart and which guys are getting reps. And Cooper Laga is going to get almost all of the reps. Levi Williams is going to get, a handful. And McKay Hillstead will get very few. And may even be over with the scout team running the opposing team's, offense. But for him to get an opportunity to be on the field right now is huge.
And Hillstead trying to make something happen and just a little off target there. He had an open target. I mean, imagine what he's going through right now. He was playing high school ball 10 months ago, and now his first shot at it here in Maverick Stadium. We got a hold.
Well, I'll tell you this, for high school players, like McKay Hillstead was a very celebrated high school athlete here. And you go through a process when you get to college and you're buried on, 3 deep in the depth chart. And it can be mentally taxing. And I love that schools are much more conscious of making sure that they're, engaging with the players and their mental health, because it can be a depressing thing. And you have to learn that now you got to climb that ladder again. And it's a good learning experience. But McKay Hillstead is one of those guys that as we watched him deal with injuries, a significant knee injury that kept him out for a good portion of his senior year. These guys have that kind of determination, and that's why they're here. It's not just, you don't get recruited just because of your talent. At this point, teams, schools are doing their due diligence, and they want to know everything about you. So you make it to this level, and it's quite an accomplishment. So we're excited for McKay Hillstead, and also, of course, to follow Cooper Laga from his Orem days to now here at Utah State.
And he feels like a perfect fit, actually.
Oh, no, absolutely.
James on the reception.
Once again, Switzer still in the game, making the tackle there. I mentioned this earlier in this first half of this game, his ability, his break speed to stop on a dime, change directions, and then close on a receiver.
Set up that screen, getting out of a tackle. How about that? Good yardage up to the 40-yard line.
That was a great angle.
There are
television audience.
New numbers coming in, by the way. I mean, just right and left. That's Julian Mason that got into the game on that one.
There are over 100 names on the numerical roster. There's double numbers here. We go all the way to 98. Yeah.
Hayes gets out of trouble, and look at this. Hayes all the way down across the 50.
I believe that's Cook back in the game.
Excuse me, Cook came back in. They're even mixing up the quarterbacks every series.
Well, I think at this point, as we talked to Coach Hawkins, and he talked about having fun, but he wants guys to be able to – you're still out there earning a spot. I'm going to play multiple guys, but if you earn a position where, like, we have to have you on the field, then you'll be on the field. So the competition is still ongoing here.
Fredrickson on the reception. I thought it was interesting getting back to the Utah State offense. When Blake Anderson was talking to us, you were asking about calling plays. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he gave himself a B-.
Yeah, he did.
For that first game.
First game.
Well, what would you give him in this game?
Well, I'd give him an A, but
absolutely.
He's going to be harder on himself than we're going to be on him. And I'm sure that he feels like there's things that maybe he didn't do right. But I can't think of a whole lot.
In the Iowa loss.
Yeah, I can't think of a whole lot in this game that he could have done differently.
Certainly when the starters were in.
Yeah. And the whole part where you've got, second and third string guys, maybe even, to your fourth string guy, it's going to be a whole different way that you grade it. Because you're still going to try to call the game to put guys in positions to be successful, but you're going to anticipate that there's going to be more mistakes.
Well, that's when the coaching comes in, right? No matter what the final score is. All right, well, they got this settled. Fredrickson, by the way, for Idaho State, 7 receptions, 108 yards, 2 touchdowns. He's really had a nice game for Cody Hawkins' team. And Hayes, again, this time he overshoots Fredrickson. He's definitely a favorite target of both these quarterbacks.
Well, Fredrickson is just a sophomore. He's from Rigby High School. And he's one of those guys that is just a huge target. He's 6'4". Typically, that guy's your tight end, the size that he has. And he may eventually play tight end because he's just a sophomore now. But he's one of those guys that is a big target that you love to have on the field.
And he has great hands, too.
Yeah, those 6'4" guys are easier to locate than your 5'8" guys.
James on the reception.
Big hit that time by Anywanyu.
Piled up, but they got the first down. As the clock continues to move. Speaking of the Aggie defense, Joe Coffin, the defensive coordinator, and Coach told us a great story about him. I didn't realize they had gone back so far, back to the mid-'90s when they were together at Trinity Valley, and then kind of just didn't lose track of them, but they didn't work together for a couple of decades. And then as soon as, it's the hook and ladder. The hook and ladder, the dive for the pylon.
What a play
out of bounds at the 4.
To make sure that that wasn't a touchdown. Coming in and making that stop, I believe that was Simeon Harris. Watch the end of this play. Simeon Harris, and you think these guys don't care whether or not the other team scores?
Wow.
They care. That was brilliant.
And he did step out of bounds at the 4-yard line. But back to Coffin, so he tells him, hey, I've become a head coach. I'm going to call you. And when he got to Arkansas State, Blake Anderson did call him, and now he's his defensive coordinator here at Utah State. Quick pass, incomplete. Came in a little hot.
Trying to hit that quick slant. Successful earlier in the game for Idaho State. Now some of the other receivers coming in that time could not connect.
Yeah, Julian Mason. Everyone getting a chance. Participation trophies handed out.
Direct snap.
Yep. Raiden Hunter.
They'll bring up 3rd down and goal. This is where you're just depending on the pride of the defense. And I can guarantee you all the guys that are starters right now are on the sideline cheering for the group that is in here right now.
Here we go on 3rd and goal. Pass outside low, and nope. And now 4th down.
That was a great job because that receiver came in motion, did a little yo-yo, meaning coming into the formation and then going back out. And so that means the defender who was watching him had to go in and out and get back outside. Ike Larson doing a great job.
He had the pick 6 earlier.
Well, he's so athletic. He had 4 blocked punts last year to go along with 4 interceptions. He's just an athletic specimen.
Blake Anderson in his 3rd season. Remember this first season, they went to the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. That was the big coming out party for Cooper Lega. Now he and Kimmel are buddies. Well, maybe not. We'll be back. Welcome back. 13th play of the drive. It is 4th and goal. Will the Aggie defense step up, or does Idaho State get in the end zone? Here we go.
Different quarterback now.
And now Cook comes back.
That's Jackson Sharman.
Direct snap. And that will be a touchdown for Raiden Hunter. It's a little trickery there. And they end up snapping it right to Hunter.
Well, they came in. They've done this several times where they do have their regular quarterback in. So Cook is in, and they end up snapping it to the up back. That time successful for a score.
So the point after.
And this is one of those cases, too, where the score at the end will not be a true indication of what happened here tonight. Yeah, that running back room is deep.
15 yards on that pickup. Hillstead again gives it off.
Another nice run by Jones. Remember when BYU always had two great tight ends? It was the bookends.
Oh, yeah, they
it was
always had that.
Mealy and Lewis
Mealy,
back in the
right.
day.
Mealy went on to Seattle, the Seahawks.
And then Daniel Coates and was it Harleen? Were they together?
Johnny Harleen. Oh, Beck to Harleen, one of the greatest moments in a Lemmas BYU fandom.
Oh, I'll tell you,
history.
that was a big win against the rival, the University of Utah.
In their stadium. So we had an unsportsmanlike after that play. It was quite a ways downfield.
See if we can see it here. Oh, it might have been. Oh, that's what happened. You saw it right there on your screen.
Hillstead's pass almost feels like it got
that
tipped.
got tipped.
Yeah.
It got batted down by number 18 for Idaho State. That's Raiden Brown. Got a lot of different players now making
tons of them
rotated in here and getting opportunities.
3rd down and 3. Hillstead's going to run and not get anything.
I'll tell you, watching McKay Hillstead at Skyridge, his high school days, the number of times that he turned a broken play into a touchdown in his 4 years as a starter from freshman year on, he was just a magician.
Yeah. So 4th down, and Anderson leaves the offense on the field, and Hillstead complete. That's a good ball right there, and that's a 1st down.
Kahana Davis with the reception. Our kid from Kapa'a with a catch here. If anybody's watching on the island of Kauai.
Well, we have quite a reach on KJazz TV. Also on the Mountain West Network, of course. So no doubt, it's great nowadays that you can pick up these games just about anywhere. In your day, your parents had to actually fly to Provo.
They did. My dad, I think my mom and my dad were able to make one of my games in Provo.
Wow.
No, maybe they didn't, but they came to the Utah game when Scott Mitchell lit us up. That was my senior year.
57-28.
The one game they came to was that one.
Oh, God. Was he still doing Hawaii 5-0 at that time?
No, he wasn't really, but he was still doing the show at Waikiki,
right.
So it was hard for him to get away.
Wow, quick pass inside, complete. And more yardage for this Aggie offense.
Obviously, we were in the WAC with Hawaii, so you went to Hawaii every year. The whole time I was there, Hawaii never traveled to Provo
you always
to play
went
us.
there.
It was one of those things where they compensated you for some of your travel expense, and ended up we went there every year.
Oh, Hillstead keeps. Hillstead, tons of room, and Hillstead reaches ahead. Will they give it to him? Oh, they're going to mark him down at the 1.
Man, I'd like to see the replay on this because I'm not sure if his knee was on the ground when the ball went across the plane. Now, this is something we saw for many years down in Skyridge High School. Does he get there? Oh, the knee is down. So a good mark, probably at the 1.5 yard line. Now an opportunity for the second unit to get a touchdown on the board.
I'd love to see McKay get it. He's going to hand off, and it's going to be short.
Jones getting a few carries here now.
Everybody getting involved.
Well, this is nice, too, for a lot of these guys on the offensive line. It is very rare. Tavo Motu'upuaka is one of those rare freshmen that's starting.
Exactly. The push, and it's another touchdown for the Aggies.
Great drive that time by Jones. He just kept that motor going. He was met at about the half-yard line, and just that forward lean and determination to get into the end zone.
Over 70 points. They're looking to add another one. When they hit 65 points, as that point after is no good, that represented their 7th most points in school history. So we'll be checking to see what 71 does.
I'm telling you, Fox, it is really hard to score in the 70s. It's hard. And they are doing it here at Maverick Stadium. There might be more. Stick around.
Everyone getting involved.
Yeah,
in a
Terrell
game
Vaughn
recap.
is one of those guys that has shined here tonight. And, man, he has been just amazing. And he's carried the ball several times, kind of a fly sweep action, but some big touchdown grabs.
He only had the one reception in the second half. He was motoring in that first half. It was the touchdown.
So what was that total for him then? What did he get to, 11?
Yeah. So
See, I told you that happens. You got to get him when you got to strike when the iron is hot.
73 yards, 2 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, he only had 11 receptions. Oh. So how about that? He's now got 23 receptions in 2 games. Good for him. And again, Blake Anderson just raving about the speed of these guys, and it was on full display tonight.
Well, you think about the talent that he's been able to acquire, and we were asking him this question and said, the transfer portal is such a thing now, right? So I want to get what his feeling was on the transfer portal. Pass complete over the middle here. Big hit.
I thought his answer was interesting.
Yeah, because he said, well, you got transfer portal, you got high school recruits, and then you got JC transfers. And for us, there's some teams that it's all about that transfer portal. But we get some of our guys out of the transfer portal. Obviously, that's a big part of college football now. But we, also make sure that we recruit as hard as we can here in the state of Utah. And we get some JC transfers. So he said we probably balance that 1/3 each. And,
exactly.
1/3 high school guys coming in as freshmen, and then 1/3 JC kids, and then 1/3 transfer portal.
And as a result, he gets 59 new faces this year.
And, even with all of that, it's not just about the numbers. You got to have the right kid, right, that fits your program both schematically and as far as character goes. So sometimes it seems like, it's easy. You just bring in the best players out there. Well, it's not always the case. You got to make sure that you bring somebody that's going to fit your program, that's going to fit the community. And so, that they pay close attention to all of those facets.
Got another new quarterback in there is Gasu, by the way, the running back out of Cypress High School on the carry. And then
He's had a nice game. The kids,
he has. Local kid.
Out of Cypress.
And he'd also talked about, I think you brought up the NIL. That's life in college football. And if you don't follow it and you don't subscribe to it, you don't work at it, you're going to fall behind.
Well, the thing is that if you're Utah State, you understand, or if you're the Mountain West Conference and teams in the Mountain West, you understand that you can't offer the NIL type of perks that the SEC is, or
right.
that the Pac-12 is, or any of the Big Five. As a group of 5 type of team, it's a different approach to what the NIL looks like. So the kids that are coming to any of the group of 5 teams, their NIL deals aren't anything near
not even close.
What's happening in some of the other.
Oh, there's 7-figure deals in some big schools.
Well, the thing is, the kid that won the Heisman last year at USC, he could stay at USC for another year after this because he's making $3 million.
Yeah,
he can look at and say, okay, this is probably who's going to draft me. I don't want to go there. I'm going to stay another year and just keep collecting my NIL. So,
and keep in mind, if you go to the NFL and you're not on the you're just on the practice squad, you're going to make less than that.
Yeah, I mean, for a kid like him, obviously, somebody's going to draft him to be their starter. But if you're talking about some of the other guys that have a decent NIL deal, and you're going to make more money on your NIL than you are going to make, for showing up for camp.
Who would have thought that we'd get to that point? I was watching the 30 for 30 on SMU and the death penalty.
Oh, yeah.
And thinking that everything they did wrong then is perfectly legal now.
You can do now.
It's crazy. Short dump-off pass, complete, down to the 40-yard line. Kahui. Now you're in that situational dilemma where the defense really doesn't want to give up another score, and the offense really wants to add another score.
Well, both of these teams, they've got things that they want to accomplish, even at this point in the game, where you look at the clock, there's a minute, 20 left to play, and, there's no way that Idaho State's coming back. But there's still all of this stuff that is going on right now will still be part of film review.
Oh, absolutely. Pass tipped, intercepted. Exclamation point for the Aggies, and this one could go back all the way. And it's a second pick 6 on the night.
And that's Jaden Francois with the return for a touchdown.
So Francois joins Ike Larson.
He got the double tip drill that time. They run the tip drill in practice. This is the double tip drill. He got tipped twice and into his hands and returns at 75 yards for a second pick 6 on the night. Earlier tonight, it was Ike Larson with a pick 6, and now Francois. It's points on the board.
Looking for their 78th point. And the point after is good. My goodness.
Elliot Nimrod's done a nice job stepping in. He's typically your kickoff guy, but William Testa had an injury. Didn't get an update on exactly what that was, but I think it was sometime in the second quarter, Fox, that Testa,
it was right before halftime.
Yeah, came out. Nimrod doing a nice job. Well, what a great game this has been for the Utah State Aggies.
Well, if you're looking for a get-well game, you certainly found it. Not that they had huge problems at Iowa. I know the first thing Coach told us in our get-together this week was we should have won that game.
Yeah.
And he's probably right.
Well, the mistakes that he was frustrated with, number one, he mentioned, I should have communicated better on special teams. They gave Iowa a nice kick return. They made some other errors on special teams that they needed to clean up. They were much cleaner in the kicking game here tonight. And then wanted Cooper Lagat to take better care of the ball. He took a sack that was kind of an unforced error in that game and threw an interception. They had 2 picks in that game. He threw one of them. And he wanted those things to be looked at, worked on during the course of the week and fixed. And I would say great job by the coaching staff, great focus. Oh, my goodness.
No way. I think the Aggies, I think they believe they have it.
That ball was touched by Idaho State. Live football, and I believe you can't advance it, so it's going to be down right there.
Now, theoretically, the Aggies will probably just take a knee.
Although they'll take a knee
at this point. But what a game. You know, the total offense doesn't really this is what pick sixes will do for you, because the Aggies almost 600 yards. But Idaho State still had 424 yards of total offense.
Yeah, and that might be something that they look at between the 20s, and a lot of that came here in the fourth quarter,
right?
When you had reserves in. But again, you know, as I was mentioning, what Coach Anderson was talking about, the things that they wanted to learn from the Iowa game and make sure that they applied here, including special teams. That's a great example right there. You have another big play on special teams. Your return game was good. You didn't have any. You had one that you muffed, but you fell on it, and so there was no problem. And they're going to line up and take the snap here.
Okay. And they'll run one play here.
Yeah, I got no problem with this. As a former running back that played in some fourth quarters and wanted as many touches as I could get.
A few of those games were probably a similar score.
Game clock and play clock will mandate that they run one more play here.
Yeah. And that will do it. So what a win for Blake Anderson and his Aggie football club last week after they went to Iowa and lost a pretty competitive game, 24-14. Tonight, they completely dominate, 78-28. What do you think, Alema?
There's Anderson and Hawkins, and you see kind of, you know, the personality of Hawkins, and he knows that this is a process at Idaho State, and they lose by 50 here tonight, but that's part of the process. And congratulating Anderson on a nice win for his Aggie squad. A lot of respect between these two guys. Wishing each other luck.
I was going to say, that's a really long
they're
post.
wishing each other luck for the rest of the season. Hey, you know, go get them this year. Of course, as the Bengals will go on to their FCS schedule and see how they do, and it gets easier for them. You know, for Utah State, it doesn't get easier, right? You get into conference play, and it does get harder. For Idaho State, this has been the toughest part of their schedule right here.
Has. A lot tougher than even last week when they were at San Diego State.
This was way, Utah State way better than San Diego State, what they put on the field last week. Idaho State had a chance really to win that game. I always love to see this where there's a lot of these guys, they grew up together, they played against each other in high school or whatnot. You got some kids, including, players that are on that squad over on the Idaho State side that grew up here, and they got recruited and ended up playing for Idaho State. They get a chance to come home to Utah and play a game, and guys get to see each other and embrace and have a chat.
By the way, most points scored for Utah State, get this, since 1919 when they beat this Idaho's A team 136-0.
Wait a second. 136.
Wow. And it's the fourth most in school history.
Are you looking at basketball?
Well, you wouldn't get 0 in basketball, but wow.
Good heavens.
We played a different brand of football back then. Well, it's been a lot of fun doing this game, and Alema, I think we know we'll be back doing more. We've got 4 on the schedule. And
looking forward to it. I'm going to be in the student section next time we're here.
Okay, we'll get you a wireless headset. You can go over there, see how long that lasts. But it's been great, and a big win for the Aggies, 78-28. Thank you, Tyson Ewing, for being here and helping with the spotting and the stats and everything, and Alema, you as well. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for joining us, Utah State football here on KJazz TV.